Alright, welcome to Stay Tuned Garage. My name is Alex, and today we're gonna replace the cut springs on the Mustang with some nice Eibach lowering springs. I actually got these at a junkyard not too long ago when I got the rear end, the new rear end for the Mustang, and I'm gonna clean these up and throw them in. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna jack the car up, put on jack stands, and take the wheels off so we can start in this endeavor. Stay tuned. Alright, so I just went ahead and actually installed one of these into the driver's side, and yeah, it fits. But I went ahead and did that so I can get the most efficient way that I could find to do it, and then just do it on the other side and record that. That way I'm not just sitting there talking to the camera and being like, well, I mean, we're gonna try this. I already know what to do, you know? And here is the cut spring. And compared to the Eibach lowering spring, it's not that off on size, but the Eibach lowering spring should have a higher spring rate so it won't compress as much. If I'm thinking about that right, it shouldn't compress as much, and it will be a higher ride height, just a slight bit. Let me see. They're pretty lined up on top. I mean, it's got like, I'd say like a 1/4 of an inch of difference, but I'm sure that this one compresses a lot more, and that one is gonna stay a lot more rigid. It's gonna be a stiffer ride. But that's fine. So let's see. Oh, and while I have you guys here, I just uploaded to my Instagram a little sneak peek of what's going on. So this video is gonna go up about a week from now. So if you follow my Instagram, you'll probably get sneak peeks to what videos will be about a week in advance, or not exactly a week, but sometime in advance. So go ahead and give me a follow. Should be down in the description, or maybe I'll have it pop up here or something. Thank you. But yeah, so we got one side down. Let's go ahead and knock the other one out. Alright, here we are. So first thing I'm gonna do is remove the caliper and the brake pads. So I'm not gonna remove the caliper bracket, just the caliper. So that will be a T50 Torx bit that will go into the bottom caliper bolt. Take that off, and then you'll be able to swing the caliper up and then out, and then I just put it up here while I do the work. Then after that, and then the brake pads, and then just put those down and try to keep them away from the dirt and stuff. And then I'm gonna take out the ABS sensors. So just take this little bolt. So the bolt size for that is, it's like a negative torque something. I just use a 1/4 inch 12-point socket, and it seems to work just fine. But be careful with those like to break a lot, those bolts, not the socket. So I'm gonna take caliper off, sensor off, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll go from there. Alright, we got the brake caliper and the ABS sensor out. Brake calipers up here. Got the pads over here. Just, I don't like to touch the friction surface on anything, because then increases the chances of there getting dirt stuck in there and then warping one of your calipers, or warping your rotor. So now I'm actually gonna go ahead and take these off. So these are the shock, or the strut bolts, I guess you could say. Shock bolts, strut, whatever. It's what holds your knuckle to the strut slash shock slash whatever. So this is a 15/16 nut, and there's 2 of them here. This one's just to, this one right here is just to hold on the ABS sensor bracket. And then on the other side they're 18 millimeters. So you just, on one side with one wrench, on the other side with another, or with an impact, or just get them off. And there's 2, so there's one bolt up here, and then there's another one on the bottom. 2 bolts, 2 bolts, 3 nuts, because this one has an extra one. So just take those all off, and then you'll be pretty close to getting there. Alright, so now here is what we are left with. So I just put the jack under the control arm, and I put it under the control arm spring bucket. Like there's like a low point there. And I have like hardly any pressure on it at all. It's just there so that when I take the sway bar off, it doesn't just drop completely, just bam. I just wanted to, I want to be able to control the drop with the jack. So now, if all I'm gonna do is remove this top sway bar end link bolt or nut. You grab a 10mm wrench, you support it right here in the middle, then you get a 15mm deep socket, and you go ahead and take this off. And once you got that off, you take the little bushing off, you can just go ahead and lower the jack slowly. The whole control arm assembly will drop and you'll be able to get the spring out. Alright, so now I just got that little bolt off, or the little nut off, and now I'm gonna go ahead and lower this. And we got it all the way down. And if you have stock springs that aren't cut like mine are, if you have stock springs, you're gonna have to jack your car up pretty high and you're probably gonna have to take the tie rod off, because you're gonna have to press it pretty low for it to want to come out. As you can see, mine, it's just about comes out there. But yeah, if you have the stock ones, those are pretty long and they have a lot of travel in them, so you're gonna have to get this, leverage this pretty low in order to pry it out. So now, just gonna grab the new springs. I actually have a new polyurethane strut seat, not for the bottom but for the top. I'm gonna put that in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put the new spring in. So if you actually look at the spring bucket here, you'll notice that the deepest point is right here. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but the deepest point is right here, right at the end of this little hole right here. And then it goes up because that's how the springs are designed, you know? They have a lowest point, so you just want to make sure the lowest point goes right in there. Kind of like that. The easiest way to get this in is probably going to be like that, seating the top first and then putting in the bottom. And then what I did on the other side, they sell a little tool you could buy that puts a little point down there that you can pry the spring into its seat. What I did, I'm not gonna be able to film how I did it, but what I did is I just grabbed a wrench like this, a pretty big wrench, and I just kind of pried it in like this while I pushed down with my other hand on the knuckle to get more leverage in there, and I was able to get it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll be pretty much on the reassembly part, which is the easiest part in my opinion. So I got the new spring in, I've got the and so one thing I wanted to know is so when your control arm is all the way down, you want to getting this sway bar end link back in the right place is kind of a pain, because you have to with one hand push it all the way to where it's supposed to be, and with the other hand operate the jack so that it goes up straight. But once you get it in just a little bit, you can just jack it up. It won't mess up the threads, or it might, but it's not too vital. And then all you want to do is basically just jack up the car until you can, or no, jack up the control arm until you can get this top bolt into there. Once you get the top one in, you can easily align the bottom one, and then it's just smooth sailing from that. Just tighten everything, put everything back that you took off, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish all this off, and then we can go ahead and lower the car, see how she looks. Alright, so I just got the car off the jack stands. And oh yeah. Alright. So it sits a lot higher than it used to. It used to be like 2 fingers. I feel like it was a lot lower. But hey, I already knew that was gonna happen. And I'm honestly, I don't really mind it all that much. Cause it's not too bad, but it's still low. And I mean, I got blocks under it, so car itself is sitting higher than it should. But I can live with that because, so in order to drive to where I live, there's a really, really deep dip, and every single time I go through that dip, my front bumper completely my front bumper completely goes like this. It like flexes a whole bunch, so this should help at least a little bit. But yeah, so I know previously I've mentioned that I am going to save up for coilovers, and while that is true, I am gonna save up for them. I think that I'm not gonna do it anytime soon. I'm gonna save up for them and I'm gonna have the money, but I'm not gonna upgrade anytime soon. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna feel these out, see how they feel, and I'm gonna get a new pair of shocks for the whole car, because I'm pretty sure these shocks are worn to all hell. So I'm gonna get new shocks, probably Bilstein shocks, or I'll take a look to see what's good out there, what's in the market, what people recommend, and I'm gonna get some new shocks, lowering springs. I'm gonna run these springs. I'm probably gonna put a hydro in it sometime soon, either a hydro or angle, and then I'm gonna go ahead and no, actually I want to drift it without angle first and then switch to angle to see the difference and compare, do a before versus after. So I'm probably gonna get a hydro here, maybe not super soon because I got school coming up. I'm paying for school and I have to buy all my books still, so it might be a while before I can get a hydro, but I'm gonna start. Car is running great, it starts every time, no problem. It idles perfectly. It's perfect, except for it's super loud, and it was super low. Now it's not super low, now it's a manageable low. So I'm gonna see if I can take it out and mess around one of these days. But yeah, so for now, car is doing pretty good. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. I'm gonna turn my AC back on. I'm gonna go inside and get out of the hot because it is so hot out here. I'm sweating. I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something, if that's what you were aiming for. Like I mentioned earlier, follow my Instagram, Twitter, it'll be in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.